Hey guys, this is the Forex price action trading course. This is lesson number 2, how to use multiple time frames for price analysis. Okay, so let's get going. Alright, so here's a lesson overview. First, I'll be explaining the main way we use multiple time frames for price analysis and demonstrate this process. And then, I'll go on to the secondary way of using multiple time frames for price analysis, and I'll be demonstrating this process also. Alright, so let's get going. Okay, the main way to use multiple time frame analysis is to find price characteristics on the lower time frames that define the strength of a higher time frame's price characteristic. Okay, so let me explain this. Alright, so here's a monthly chart. We're going to find a price characteristic. So this trend line from this pivot to this pivot. This trend line has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on it. Now on this touch, since it's a relatively strong downward trend line, we're going to give it, say, a plus 10 future short strength. Okay. Now we're going to go on the lower time frames now and see what happened on this area on the lower time frames to either increase or decrease the strength of this monthly price characteristic. Alright, so let's go down to the weekly chart. Now on the weekly chart, that price characteristic point is right here. Now we could immediately see there was a weak hammer here. Now this hammer is weak because it doesn't have a full close down, and the wick above is not that high. Thus, since the lower time frame's price action was weak, we are actually going to deduct -2 from that monthly price characteristic. Okay, so let's go back to the monthly chart. So originally, this trend line down and this touch right here had a plus 10 future short strength. But on the weekly chart, we found that the price action on this point was weak down. Thus, we're going to subtract -2 from this monthly price characteristic, giving us a future short strength of only plus 8. Alright, now let's try doing the same thing for the daily chart. Okay, on the daily chart, that price characteristic point is right here. Now this price action right here is weak. In future lessons, I'll explain how to know if price is strong or weak just by the way it moves, but for now, just please take my word for it. Okay? So since this price action right here was weak also, we're going to subtract another -2 from that monthly price characteristic. Okay, we'll go back to the monthly chart. Okay, so this trend line originally had a plus 10 future short strength, but the weekly deducted it by 2, and the daily deducted it by 2 also. So the true future short strength of this monthly price element is only plus 6, right? Okay. Now the opposite is true also. The lower time frames could actually add strength to this monthly price characteristic. So let's do an example of that. Okay, so we'll go down to the weekly chart. That price point was right here on the monthly chart. Now let's say that there was a strong hammer here. Okay, so it had a full close down and a very high wick up. Well, this would actually add strength to that monthly price characteristic. let's say by +2. Moreover, let's go to the daily chart. Now that price point was right here. Now let's say we had some really nice future short strength price action here. For example, if this pivot had a double top, or if it had an HNS here, well, that will add short strength to that monthly price characteristic by let's say +2. Okay, so we'll go back to the monthly chart. So hypothetically, what could have happened is this monthly downward trend line on this touch right here that originally had a +10 future short strength. The lower time frames can actually add strength down, right? +2 for the weekly and +2 for the daily, which will give us a +14 future short strength. Okay. So in this way, the main way to use multiple time frame analysis is to find price characteristics on the lower time frames that define the strength of a higher time frame's price characteristic. Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right. The secondary way to use multiple time frame analysis is to get a more intricate understanding of current market conditions by getting a finer and more detailed look into what price is doing. All right, so let's take a look at the chart. This is a monthly chart. Now, if we just look at the monthly chart's current price action, which is right here, there isn't much we could tell. All it looks like is that price went up and went down. Now, by using the lower time frames, we could get a better understanding or a finer understanding of current market conditions. So let's go down to the weekly chart. Okay, so on the weekly chart, that area we were talking about is right here, this area. Okay. So let's see the finer details of what was happening in this area. So, first of all, we could see that there was a resistance here. We could see there was a hammer down right on that resistance also. And so, there was some strength down. However, price still got through that level, which shows strength long, right? Moreover, on the more current price action, we could see that price is actually in a range right here that we couldn't tell just by looking on the monthly chart. Okay, now let's look at the even finer details by looking at the daily chart now. Okay, now on the daily chart, that monthly price area is this entire area. Okay, immediately we could see, remember on the weekly chart we had that resistance here. But more than just a resistance, there was actually a double top here too. And there's even an HNS here, which shows us that there was a lot of strength down in this point, but still price got through that level, which shows strength up. Moreover, there was a range right here on the weekly chart, right? But when we look at the finer details, we could see that there was a little bit of bias down in this range because the lower end of this range was actually broken out once, while the top levels are all respected, right? So let's go back to the monthly chart. So by looking at the lower time frames, we learned that there was actually a lot of selling pressure here, but price still got through that, showing there's a lot of future long strength. Moreover, we learned that there was a range right here. But even within this range, there was a slight bias down because on the daily chart, this range was broken out on the bottom, but it was never broken out on the top. Okay? So the secondary way to use multiple time frame analysis is to get a more intricate understanding of current market conditions by getting a finer and more detailed look into what price is doing. And having a basic understanding of current market conditions is a valuable tool for short-term and long-term trading because it shows us the finer details of the strength of the longs and the shorts. Okay. All right. Okay, so multiple time frame analysis is integral in analyzing price because first of all, it gives us the ability to notice the subtle strength or weakness of a price characteristic, right? So we learn that this monthly trendline down price characteristic, what was originally a +10 future short strength, was actually only a +6 future short strength, right? Moreover, multiple time frame analysis provides clarity at an intricate level of what the market is doing, right? So we learned that actually there's a lot of strength up right here. And we also learned that this range right here has a slight bias down in strength, right? Okay, so for these reasons, multiple time frame analysis is integral in analyzing price. Okay, that was it for lesson number 2. In the next lesson, we're going to go through the application of basic price action analysis. Okay, so we're going to do this on a current currency pair to give you a basic idea of how to apply basic price action analysis. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. And thanks for watching, guys. Okay, bye.